Here we are. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ripped411 Coach Call. Tonight we are having an awesome conversation all about personal development, and I just first of all wanted to extend a special welcome to our two guests, Scott and Alex, who are
Hello.
joining us. I'm so excited that you're here. And thank you to Jesse also for inviting you and reaching out to you. I know you guys have been working together, and I just think it's cool that we can all come together and support each other, share our experiences, hear from each other, because we're all moving in the same direction. I wonder, just so everybody can kind of get to know who everybody is, we can just do a quick round of introductions. Just say where you're from and what program you're doing right now. So I live in Chicago, and I'm working on 21 Day Fix now. Pete, how about for you?
I am Pete McCusker. I live in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I'm doing the Les Mills Combat.
Awesome. And Scott?
I live in Chicago, and I am doing Body Beast for the second round in a row.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And Jesse?
My name is Jesse Santiago, and I live in Chicago, and I'm also doing Body Beast. I'm in my third phase.
And Dan?
I'm Dan Nennig, and I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I'm doing P90X3 for the second round.
Awesome. And Colleen, you have a special story here.
I'm Colleen Corey. I'm currently having a slight knee injury, so I'm resting it. But I will be doing 21 Day Fix as soon as I am up and running again.
Awesome. Thanks. And
I'm from Darien, Illinois. Sorry.
Yes. Illinois, represent.
You do.
Alex, how about you?
Alex Linus, live in Houston, Texas, and right now I am actually doing Body Beast. I also have a local fit group, and on those evenings we're doing certified to teach PIO. So one night a week I do PIO.
That's awesome. I used to live in Houston when I was a kid in Clear Lake City.
I live in Clear Lake.
Shut up!
That's where
That's crazy. What street do you live on?
God, I live off of Bay Area Boulevard.
I lived off of Bay Area Boulevard. That is insane. What was the name of our street? I want to say Scenic. Was it Scenic View?
No.
It was like Forest Glen neighborhood. Does that ring a bell?
Brook Forest.
Brook Forest. Yeah, we weren't there, but like next to it.
There's Brook Land, and it's all right there by Clear Lake High School.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's by my house.
That's crazy. Okay, we got a kinship there. Nice. And Chris, how about for you?
I'm Chris Smith. I live in Chicago, and I'm 4 days away from completing Body Beast for the first time. I know, maybe it's 3. Let me check. How many days? I am 4 days away. Yeah, 4 days away.
Woo!
I know. Woo-hoo.
Oh, awesome! So proud of you. That is awesome. And just real quick, how long have we been coaches? I've been a coach for 4 years. And Scott, how about you?
I'm going in my third year as a coach now.
Okay. And Alex, how about for you?
This is 3.
Oh, it just cut out. Was that 3?
3.
Okay. Awesome. And then I think Jesse is the next senior one.
Yeah, 2 years.
See, in order, who's next? Colleen. Oh my gosh. We have Colleen's.
Sorry, out. I don't know why.
It's okay. We just see double of you.
What?
Yeah. A frozen face in the other one.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, good.
Colleen, how long have you been a coach?
I don't know, Michael. How long have I been a coach? I should know the date. Is it a year?
It's been like a year or so.
It's been around a year. I'm not good with dates.
Yeah. It's like your birthday. We have to celebrate on your anniversary. And Dan, how about for you?
7 months.
Yes. And Pete.
7 months too.
7 months. And Chris. Chris is muted.
For it to unmute.
There
Oh,
we
there
go.
you go.
There it goes. It's slow. I think it's been 3 months and maybe a week.
That sounds about right. Because it was right before you started Body Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's been 2 days.
Yeah.
Really close.
You're like, bada bing, bada boom.
Yes.
And poor Chad is still
There.
and if it doesn't work, then I hope he'll see the video.
Hello.
But he's
Oh, there he is.
Chad,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. We just can't see you. We see the color
Can't
bar.
see me. Yeah. Well, you're just not going to be able to see me.
We want to see your beautiful face.
I don't.
We'll settle for just your voice.
Well, at least you can hear me.
Yes.
I'm having technical difficulties.
I love color bars.
That's right.
Chad, I'd really like to know how you got your color board up there, though.
You know, I don't even know. I am with John at work, and I'm on his computer because I couldn't get my other phone to work. So I tell you,
It's impressive.
I know, right? So many things I can do.
You are talented.
That's right, without even knowing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get to the topic at hand, personal development. I was just kind of putting a few thoughts together and thought that we could actually kind of use some prompts of some questions that and generate some conversation that, and basically just kind of like the 5 questions about like what is personal development is the first question. Who does it? Why do it? When do you do it? And how do you do it? And then, if anybody has a personal story that we can share about that, that would be awesome as well. I'm hearing some feedback from there. Let's go ahead and, if you're not talking currently, go ahead and put yourself on mute. And then feel free to unmute yourself whenever you want to talk. So, you're certainly welcome to chime in and jump in whenever you like. So the first question that I wanted to ask you guys is, what is personal development? What does that mean to you? And I know the answers, but I want to know what you think. What comes to mind? Da, 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 da. Nobody talking?
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
I'll volunteer.
Flashbacks of like college.
I'll talk.
You're too late. You can wait.
Hey, I got disconnected.
All right, Jesse. What is personal development?
Well, since I started coaching it, I didn't do much reading other than in school. But then as I started to learn this business a little bit more, a lot of this personal development kind of keeps you focused on goals and things you want to achieve and stuff like that. And I think by reading all these different books and all these different points of view, it kind of keeps you focused on achieving those goals. Because sometimes if you say you're going to do something and you don't follow through with it, it's never going to happen. And actually, I've been reading that Magic of Thinking Big, that book that was in the training. And the more I read stuff like that, it keeps me kind of focused on, it can happen, but if I don't make it happen, it's not going to happen. And if I keep thinking that way, then I'm just thinking negative, and therefore the business, the direction the business is going to be going to is also going to be negative. So I think that by reading all these different things, keeping your mind focused, I mean, there's a reason why they do these things. And I just feel that it just keeps me, you know, I work 2 jobs and, you know, it's still a little difficult, but the more I spend time on it, it's like, okay, this is like personal time for me to focus on me and things that I want to achieve other than work. Because oftentimes we get so consumed in our jobs and it's so demanding and stuff like that. But then it's like, okay, where am I going with my life? What direction do I want to go? And if I don't sit there and think about it and read all this stuff to kind of say, hey, wait a minute, think about where you want to go and what you want to do with your life. That, I don't know, by reading this, it just keeps me remembering that and keeps me focused. I mean, I don't want to get to that. You know, I've had a lot of things happen with family and whatnot, but I think now that I read it a lot more, you know, I've been working all my life. And so I want to achieve those goals. And it's nice to be reminded that there is a way to do it. And it just takes my willpower and my time management to make all this happen.
Boom. That was good. Yeah. I love what you said, Jesse, especially about you know, the part about you don't want your life to be just about work. Like, it's so easy to get caught up with, you know, with the jobs and the things that we feel like we have to do to survive, and we don't carve out, like, push aside things in our life to carve out time to think about how can we do more than survive, how can we thrive, and how can we really, you know, accomplish and achieve the things that are most meaningful to us. And at the end of our life, like, what are we going to look back and think about? Like, are we glad that we worked 2 full-time jobs? I don't know. So, I mean, that's awesome.
You know, and then I want to add some extra too, and since we have 2 guests here too. I think I get a lot of motivation, and ever since I became a coach, just looking at other people. I've been following Scott for a while, and he has an amazing family. He has 4 kids, amazing wife. I mean, she's a diamond coach and stuff. And I just see, you know, if they can manage it, you know, he works as well, but if they can manage all that's a big job. I mean, I give them props for all the work that they do because they still have time for each other. They raise their family, and they do what they want to do, and it works for them, you know. And I mean, I commend him for that, you know. And with Alex, I mean, Alex is he's just amazing. I mean, I see his posts, and sometimes it's just amazing. He really, really cares about those people. I mean, it shows in every post that he does that it's not about him. He just puts stuff out there and just wants everybody to know, hey, this is good for you. This is bad for you. I mean, he just really, really puts that out there. And that's what we do. We're out to help people. And it's nice to see other people, you know, we all have the different lives in all different directions, but we make time for what matters. And I do give them a lot of props for that. So I see that, and it makes me, I guess, more motivated for being here today and not quitting, which I was going to do in the beginning, but it just keeps me focused that if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, Jesse, let me add to that. You just talked about how you were going to quit a while back, and you reached out to Alba and me and to some other people, and our words motivated you because as coaches for Beachbody, this is a relationship business. And if personal development wasn't a part of this, we couldn't work on ourselves. And if we weren't working on ourselves, how could we help others? So by using personal development every day, reading books, staying positive, reaching our goals, that helps us to help others. So when you reach out to someone who's already there, it makes sense to you, and you made the choice to stay, and that was a good decision for you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And thanks, Jesse, for moving the camera down. I want to see the rest of your face.
Oh, I know I got a message from Peter. I'm never on this laptop. You know, I'm in my car.
That's right.
With my
iPad. I mean, Jesse, I think you hit the nail right on the head. And Scott, what an incredible example of paying it forward and the impact that personal development had on you and Alba. To be able to make a difference in somebody else's life and empower another person to be a leader. Any other thoughts for anyone else about what personal development is? Looks like Chad is here.
Hello.
Yes, this makes me so happy.
Technology does not win.
You're the victor. We're all here also because of fitness and our workouts, and I think of personal development as like a workout. And in addition to working out our bodies, it's a workout for our character. It's a workout for our knowledge. It's a workout for our confidence. It's a workout for our magnetism, our leadership, social media, communication, just overall life perspective. And just like with the physical programs that we're doing, with PIO and P90X and Body Beast, nobody expects you to go from day 1 to day 2 and automatically have a bunch of muscles and 0 fat. Like, that's just not how it works. And I think the same thing is true for personal development. It's this gradual daily thing that sometimes from day to day, it's really hard to know, like, is this making a difference? But if there were a way that you could take your day 0, 30, 60, and 90 pictures of your personal development, you could look back, and actually you can do this. Like, look at your Facebook posts from a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and see, like, what were the things you were talking about? What was important to you? And you're going to see really clearly that if you are doing your personal development, your values are going to shift into something that is adding value to other people. I mean, Jesse, like you just called out Alex, the way that he posts, it's all about adding value to other people. And, Alex, I'm kind of curious to hear from you. Have you always been like that, or was that a gradual process for you?
I actually would have to say no. Most of my posts before I ever became Beachbody coach, I honestly tell you, I only had about maybe 130 friends on Facebook. And I just hit my 5,000 limit like about a week ago. And so now people can follow me. And I'm having to figure out which coaches I can talk to actually have them follow me instead of be friends, so I can keep on friending other people. But I think for the most part, as I felt like I was growing and as I was learning more stuff, I just wanted to start sharing that information. And so a lot of stuff that you see on social media is most of the time posts and reposts and stuff like that. One of the things that I do specifically about my posts is you'll never see me post the same thing twice, ever. It's always going to be content. And I actually know this is slightly off topic, but I found for myself anyway that my post had to be structured a certain way because you all know, I mean, Josh talked about in a lot of the training, the high traffic. And so to just take a post like every 8, 12:30, 2:30, and I would try to hit just to kind of see who was watching and what kind of reactions I was getting, just like to test the waters. So 8:30 Central Time anyway. I'm in Texas, so Central Time 8:30 super busy, and then I don't have another post until noon, and people are eating at lunch. I mean, that's lunchtime, so the best opportunity to share nutritional information with people is at their lunch break because they're consuming something, they're putting something in their body, whether it's good for them or bad for them. And what you want to do is educate people so that they walk away knowing something better about how they can fuel their bodies with what they need. So what I do every day at 12:30 is I post something about nutrition. And literally just today, I actually downgraded and I took one of my posts away because I was posting at 6:30 in the morning. As soon as I'd wake up, I would post something, and it was always something motivational, but I don't get a lot of traction off of that. So I'm shifting that to my 8:30 post, and I'm doing away with my 8:30 post, and that'll become a Beachbody post at 6:30 in the evening. So you're always evolving, and that's something you're going to find yourself doing. Whether that's, I don't know that that's necessarily part of my personal development. I think for myself, it's just kind of always refining and tweaking. Don't get set in your ways about things that you think have to be a certain way, because things are always, you're always different. That audience that I have at 8:30 in the morning is different than my 3:30 in the afternoon audience. And the people at 3:30 in the afternoon, what I call a shock factor post. And it's kind of one of those posts that people look at and they're like, I can't believe he said that. I thought that, but I can't believe he said it. And it's always one of those, like, one that I want people to share. So I always kind of catch people off guard with what I'm going to post. And most of the time I can get about 20 shares off of the post. And then that draws more people and more attention to my page. So that's just kind of one of the little quirky things that I do for myself. But it's just one of those very unexpected posts that you just wouldn't expect a Beachbody coach to do. So I think I kind of just ran off in circles there. But I think for the most part, from a personal development standpoint, I mean, you're fueling your mind and just like you said, we're working out and we're wanting to live long, happier lives. At the same time, you're gonna be reading personal development. That's fueling your mind. It's making you a better person, and that's really what it is. It's just you start wanting to share that with the world because you want to be happy. Our bodies just naturally want to be happy, and I literally I don't know if you've ever heard of it at work. The girls, I was complaining at work. I actually am a loan processor for a mortgage company during the day. It's very analytical, and you get very, very easily frustrated when you don't get what you need from your customers, and you start complaining. I sit in the office with another girl, and she said, I want to challenge you to 21 days of no complaining. And she gave me this purple bracelet, as small as it was. We were required to wear it on our left arm, and you could, if I was complaining, she could call me out, but her calling me out was complaining about my complaining. So if she complained, she'd have to move her bracelet from her left hand to the right hand. And the reason I mention this is because it doesn't have to be about the purple bracelet. It's just the fact that as a reminder, it was there to remind me not to complain. And every day I wore it, and I can tell you, I made it 19 days without complaining. So, it's small things like that. You start to see the value and how amazing life is. And you start to realize that there are so many things that we just, without even thinking, complain about. And through personal development and just trying to be a better you start realizing how you can share that with the world and how much more people want to be around you. Because I said it in a post just the other day, one of two things will happen. People will either be happy in the room or they're going to be happy that you walked out of it. And I would rather be that guy that they'd be happy to be around than the person that they're like, oh my God, why was he here for so long? So that's just my little spin on it.
That is awesome. I'm curious, is there anybody who's immediately wanting to follow Alex on Facebook?
I just did.
Everybody's like,
I just
oh, we
did.
gotta see what you're doing. It's just awesome. Such good just perspective and content, and I love everything that you were saying. Absolutely.
And I ramble, so you have to.
I think rambling is when you keep saying the same thing over and over with different words. You didn't ramble. You just had great content. That was awesome.
Where I'm going
now. Man, yeah. I mean, that just hits the nail right on the head. I think I have a clearer idea of personal development as well as now kind of like the application. I love that idea of just of sharing what we're learning with the world. I've heard about this analogy of being a reservoir or being a river. I think Scotty Hobbs talks about this. I'm sure other people talk about this. And when we're a reservoir, we're like the still body of water, and all the stuff that we learn, we just kind of keep it inside us, and we kind of say, that's nice. But if we are a river, everything that you're learning is constantly flowing through you into other people, and you're nourishing the people who are downstream of you. So that's awesome. The next question I had is who is doing personal development? And I think we can take this kind of personally as well as we can kind of be broad with it. But who here has already committed to a plan of personal development? We could do like show of hands. We're calling each other out. I just kind of thought of like a list of people, of the kinds of people who do personal development. And the things that I came up with is those who are tired of just making it through life, those who want something more, those who inspire others, leaders, successful people in any field. All of these people are doing personal development, and it might look a little different depending on what your field is. And we're here for Beachbody, but Alex, you're a loan officer, and you found that personal development actually helped you with your job during the day. And if anybody wants to be the top in their field, if they're a researcher, a doctor, if they work in fast food, the way that you develop yourself is going to impact everything about you. And the way to make it to the top, if you're working for McDonald's and you're doing personal development, you're going to be a manager in a couple months, as opposed to the person who's just kind of there checking the boxes and doing the minimum.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've been very stagnant in that area, or I'm on again, off again. And so I think that's why I've committed to being consistent with it now, because I can see how important it is. And if you're not doing personal development in all phases of your life, but only certain sections of it, then you're not going to be successful either. You have to do it in all areas. And I think, I don't know. I feel like that's what I'm finally figuring out now.
Can I ask you a question, Colleen?
Yes.
Did you ever find that you were kind of dropping off with the personal development just because, this is just me personally, I can't stand reading. I'd start to doze off, and I kind of just find the content I felt like I'm never going to finish the chapter.
Exactly. And then I got a friend who got me hooked on listening to things in the car on CD. And I was like, and she's I work in a school as a speech therapist, and she's a gym teacher, and we were talking, and she's like, you've got to do it in the car because you fall asleep every night.
That's actually
it's
what
huge.
My commute to work every morning with no traffic is 24 minutes. And so I literally will start a chapter and I listen to it on the way to work, and I listen to the exact same chapter leaving and coming back home. And the reason for that is because you're not focused 100% on it when you're listening to it. So you're up the exact opposite way back home. So it almost kind of just it just to you, because you end up realizing something that you heard on the way in may be refined on the way back home, and it just helps you to that into what.
No, that's a great idea, Alex. Thanks. Yeah, because you feel like maybe you've missed something, or if you do it that way, like you said, you might hear it differently.
Yep.
So thank you.
That's an awesome tip. I was also thinking, if you listen to something in the morning on your way to work, you can kind of see how that affects your day at work. And then after, when you're coming back, you can really reflect and see oh, that actually did make a difference. These are the things that changed the course of how my day went.
Yep.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Write that one down.
We're writing it down. Yeah. Any other thoughts about who does personal development?
Well, I think you're right about leaders. I mean, in any field, if you're not doing personal development, or if you're just doing the bare minimum of your personal development, you're not making changes and improving yourself as a professional, or, in your spiritual life, or, whatever area you're, doing that in. So.
Yeah. In fact, I'm curious, kind of getting outside the Beachbody realm, what one other area of your life, either professional or spiritual, that you do personal development in some way, or that you're not doing it and you see the impact of not doing it?
Well, I'd say not kind of like having a Beachbody program, putting the DVD in and just sitting watching it, but not actually using it. Mm-hmm. So kind of, thinking of that aspect. For me, I think the example, I realize how many things you should you're doing on a daily basis, it's everything's kind of twined together, because what you're made of is what you put out into the world. So for the most part, I think that you just have to take in, you're never going to be able to fully adapt to every single thing and every single principle that they tell you that you need to do. But find something that you're really, really, really good at, and then perfect the hell out of it until you can't perfect it anymore. And like I said, you just have to always be open to the fact that you can refine and tweak the process, because as you continue to get older, you're going to continue to grow into a different person. And so as you're getting older and as you're growing, you're going to refine that process. And people, like I said, I mean, it can be as simple as, I put a challenge out to some of my coaches, and I'm like, everybody is so quick to complain on social media about something. I challenge you for the next 7 days, every single day, to put something that you're thankful for. And you'd be so shocked at how many people are going to be drawn to that post, because I can tell you how many times I will unclick follow, not unfriend, but I will not follow people that are just negative, because when you put negative energy out in the world, that's what you get back. So.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, let's go. You guys are always welcome. We do this every week. How about the next question I had was, why do you do personal development? I know we've kind of answered a lot of that already, but I'm wondering if there are other thoughts that you guys have about why we do personal development. And I had a few other thoughts as well.
I'll jump in again. Sorry, I'm the speech therapist. I talk a lot. I've always been somebody who's like a glass is half full, full person, and not a glass is half empty person. And I think I do the personal development to keep the glass full and keep it going, because if I don't, then you do find yourself getting sucked in by those negative people maybe that you work with. Also, the older I've gotten, the more I've gotten rid of the negative people. It just, I just don't need that anymore. Maybe the circle of friends is a little smaller, but you just say that negativity is not worth it if they're not giving as much as I'm giving in a relationship, or, whatever it is. If you don't want that in your life, you have to get rid of it, and you have to stick with the positive and developing yourself. So that's why I keep doing it, just because I don't want to go backwards.
Yeah. There are some relationships in our life that may be negative, that we can't cut out altogether. Like if you have a spouse sometimes, or a close family member, or a parent that might kind of bring a lot of negativity. So I totally agree with what you're saying, Colleen, and I might just kind of do a little tweak for myself. That it could also be about just limiting time with certain people.
No, definitely. I mean, obviously you can't cut everybody out. Yeah.
So there are 3-minute friends, and there are 3-day friends, and there are 3-year friends.
Yeah, and there, like you said, there are certain family members you just don't call them as often, and that's not your go-to person when you have those questions about your personal development.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm curious, to hear even from Chris and from Chad.
Well, I just think we should always be wanting to improve ourselves, in every aspect of life. So, I feel like once you start it in one area, then you can kind of just keep cycling that through into every area of your life, so that you can really be the best you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for your spiritual life, for your professional life. I'm a teacher, so the more I learn about how to teach, I'm going to be a better teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pete, the more you know about sound and tech, the better guy you are.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just so sad.
Pete already knows all the things, though.
Not so much. I'm still learning. Yes, Dan, not so much. Come on.
Yeah. Are you still learning? Like, do you actively seek how to be a better sound guy and technician?
Oh yeah, I have people that I'm close friends with that I always they do broadcast mix for audio, and I'm always following them and talking with them. Even though I don't actively do that for my job, I'm always learning stuff that I could do down the road if need be. So
Yeah. I think it's such a beautiful connection. Like if you think about your non-Beachbody life, I know for me in the beginning, being a Beachbody coach was this very surreal experience, and it was hard for me to connect it to reality. I've said it before, I kind of felt like it was this video game that I played on computers. And for me to think about like, oh, what does personal development look like in the realm of being a musician? Well, I take lessons, or I go to conferences, or I go to concerts. Like that was personal development in the way of being a composer and a performer. A teacher, how do I learn how to be a better teacher? Like those things were real. And then it's just a really simple application to see the same kind of thing within being a coach, working in Beachbody. Just a couple things to think about also. I just ran across this Maya Angelou quote this morning, which is, when you know better, you do better. And I posted that on my Facebook this morning because I was actually listening to my personal development on my way to work. It was a podcast with Shalene Johnson, and she said that quote, and I was just like, yeah, that actually is just so true. And when we learn how to be a better leader, we can be a better leader. And when we learn how to communicate better, we actually communicate better. And then another thought that I got from John Maxwell. Has anybody else read anything or listened to anything from John Maxwell? Yeah. He was the keynote speaker at the Beachbody Summit a couple of years ago. And he has this idea called the law of the lid. And basically, the law of the lid is that your own personal development will be the lid on your success. So the more that you develop yourself, the higher the lid goes on your business. And he talks about this analogy of leaders being rated 1 through 10, where 1 is the kind of a low level of leadership and 10 is a high level of leadership. And if you are a 5, then you can only lead people who are basically 4s and below. And the more that you develop yourself, you're going to take yourself to be a 6. And that means you're not only going to be able to lead 5s and below, but you're going to start attracting people who are 5s and maybe even a 6. But if you're a 6 and you want to start attracting people who are 9s, they're not going to follow you because they're at a higher level of leadership than you are. So our goal is to continue to increase our own abilities and levels of leadership so that we can be as high as we possibly can to kind of scoop as many people into that net as possible. So that when the time comes that you meet a person who is an 8 in leadership, that you'll be ready and you will be somebody who they find attractive. Let's see. Oh, and I guess the one other thought that I had about personal development is, did you know that there are some people who will spend thousands and thousands of dollars on personal development? They will buy courses, they will go to conferences, they will travel all over the world following certain people just to engage in personal development. And those who have invested thousands and thousands of dollars in it, they do it for a reason. And it's not because they like spending money. It's because it's working for them. And they see the value of it. So whether you are listening to a free podcast or watching a free video, or there's an opportunity for you to spend a larger amount of money, just know that personal development is worth it. And I don't regret a single dollar that I have spent on personal development. Okay, next question. We've kind of covered this already because you guys are brilliant. When do you do it? When do you do personal development?
Well, I'm just starting to, so I'm probably going to do it either in the morning or on my lunch break.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Chad sent me his schedule, which was awesome. Got his day planned out, and hours blocked off, just like you were going to school and you had your math period and your English period.
It's going well so far.
That's awesome. And you program that into your phone and your calendars, and you get alerts so that your phone says, stop what you're doing and move on to the next thing, because that's what you've planned in your schedule.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. Awesome. When else, guys? When do you do personal development?
Well, I've got an hour, 20-minute train ride into the city every morning, so I have plenty of time to read to and from work. So I get it all done on the train, along with a good nap, too.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the reason I don't have a development plan for me is because the time that I've been spending has been random. I know what the items are, what they could be. They usually revolve around knowledge of scientific or political, social stuff like that. But it hasn't really been structured or organized yet. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. Our lives are so crazy, and it's so easy to get scattered that if something is not planned and regular, then a lot of times it doesn't get done. So I think we can all follow Chad's awesome example and make a schedule and program it in our phones to send us an alert. Then you're committed to do it.
Because otherwise, I'm pretty sure I would not do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So like we've covered like mornings, and it's kind of nice to get your mindset set straight in the morning. Transition times. Just this afternoon, I was grocery shopping, and at our grocery store, we have this place where they'll grill your own chicken for you, and it takes 15 minutes. And while I was waiting for my chicken, I pulled out my phone and I started reading my book in that 15 minutes. So like there's all these pockets of time that we have also that you could use for personal development. I know, Dan, you're making a crazy face. It's Mariano's and it's amazing. You go to the butcher and they give you the chicken that's already marinated, and then to the sushi station and they grill it for you for free. It's amazing and has changed our life.
Yep.
And that was free.
And then also two other times, sometimes I'll read it before bed, and it's kind of like a soothing time for me to just really focus on my day and reflect. And then there are times where, especially when I do Body Beast, I'm not always watching the DVD while I'm doing my workout because I have my workout sheets, and so I'll actually multitask and do personal development while I'm doing my workout. And so I'm kind of working my mind and my body all at the same time.
I've done it while I'm on vacation too, because I'm away from everything that's structured. And that's always helpful. And then I started last night listening to books through iTunes. And of course I fell asleep, but I woke up to, music afterwards at 3 a.m. But it was great.
It was subliminal.
Yes, it's got to get in somehow.
Yeah, that's good. Any other times that you guys do personal development? I think that covers it. And my last question, which we've kind of already covered as well, is how do you do it? And we've already mentioned books, audio, podcasts, videos, conferences. even mentor relationships. Pete, you said that within your sound world, there are some people that you follow and you have conversations with them. So, I count mentoring time with somebody else, either giving or taking mentorship, can be a time of personal development as well. And I would also count therapy as personal development. I went through several years of therapy and it was awesome. It really helped me kind of get a perspective on reality in my life. And I highly recommend it to everybody, even if you don't feel like you're crazy.
Well, I talked to you, Michael.
Okay, then I charge $60 an hour.
You're my coach. It's supposed to be free.
I'm not a beach body therapist. Any other thoughts about how you do personal development that we haven't covered?
I honestly do some meditation every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really important too, to like quiet yourself and get rid of the noise, because after you do the meditation, you do see things more clearly, I think, afterwards. And so I think we all need some downtime every day to just turn off the social media, turn off the computer, everything, just to refocus. So that's my 2 cents there too.
Yeah.
One more thing.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you guys have offered is amazing. And, it strikes me that personal development is something that's really very easy to do. It doesn't take a lot to pick up a book or throw on a YouTube video. It can be free. We have the Success Magazine tab in our Coach Online office, and that's awesome. Like, there's unlimited personal development there. So sometimes I'll draw that. And it reminds me of the book, The Slight Edge. And for those of you who have read The Slight Edge, the basic idea is that the path to success and the path to failure is made up of little tiny things that don't seem like they make much of a difference in the moment. But as they accumulate, then they make something really big. And so personal development is something that's so easy to do, but it's also so easy not to do. So easy. And just like with our fitness, if you take a selfie from day 1 to day 2, you may not feel like you've made any progress. And the same thing is with our personal development. But you know that if you've been doing your work over 90 days, you're going to see a huge difference. So I want to just kind of have some takeaways for tonight. Like, what are some of the main things that you got from this evening's call? And then what are some things that we can all be committing to do?
I think my favorite has been the idea of reviewing personal development. It's one thing to zoom right through it, sometimes not quite digesting it. For whatever reason, we're in a hurry or we're distracted. It's interesting to be able to take an inventory of that, to look back and see, what did that do to my day or my week or to an event?
Yeah. Awesome. So are you just making a commitment to review personal development then?
To not, I will say this, I do have a weekly standing therapy appointment, so I do have something on the books. Mm-hmm. But I vow to make it a little bit less random. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And how can you do that?
Well, Ben Franklin said, create a schedule. That was his thing. He's the inventor of the list, Ben Franklin.
I didn't know that.
Supposedly he's the to-do guy, the first guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this was my personal development. I didn't realize that.
And I'll try to not spend less time digging through science facts about the galaxy and maybe a little bit more time about stuff on the planet. I'm fascinated
fascinated by astronomy. Always have
Yeah, yeah. Just monetize it
been. Yeah.
right away.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Just letting you know, I just got a message from Scott. His internet connection went out, so he just messaged my phone. So
Oh, okay.
that's why he's not on the screen, but he just
let him know that we'll send him the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put this up on YouTube tonight.
Okay.
As an unlisted video.
Okay.
Send the link to everybody.
Okay.
What else, guys? What are some takeaways that you had from this evening, and what are you committing to do?
Well, I'm still reading that. Magic of Thinking Big. And like I said, actually the other night, I don't know if you recall, I did a couple of posts. I was listening to the first few things of it, and it kind of, I think out of any of the books, that one kind of stuck out at me some more. I don't know. And it got me to thinking a lot of things. So if you haven't read it, I recommend it. I was on my way home and I was listening to it in the speaker of my car, and it just got me engaged, I guess. I think it got me to think a different way than I have been thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I do recommend it.
Yeah, I would second that recommendation. It's an awesome book. Changed my life. I actually assigned it to 2 of my students at school who were failing, and it turned their grades around, and they're seniors now, and they're like some of the most responsible students of the entire school.
Hey, Michael, I have a question for you. On any of you, I've never been on y'all before, but have y'all gone over any of the Franklin Covey process that Beachbody rolled out?
I've not done it myself. The only exposure that I have is just the workshop that was given at Summit when they were first revealing it.
I actually drove to Dallas, and when Denise was actually rolling it out to different markets and regions. I'm actually going to be out of town next week, but if you're interested, I can actually roll out some of the information to your team and kind of share because the essential piece of it is all about planning your and forgive me for not knowing his name, but the guy who's planning is on his phone and stuff. My day literally planned from 4:30 in the morning when I wake up to my Body Beast workout to the time I'm going to be doing my personal development. My alarm goes off to remind me to eat lunch. I mean, everything structured. So I'm all about structure, and I can promise you that if you can walk away with more structure in your day, you're finding yourself, because what happens is, how many times do you walk away feeling like, God, I was so busy, but I didn't get anything accomplished today. And most people feel that way because you feel like you're always putting out everybody else's fires that aren't even your own. And so in the Franklin Covey process, they discuss the 4 different quadrants that are so important for you to identify what is your focal point, what's everyone else's fire, how can you address, not without being disrespectful, how to kind of shrug off or push off someone else's fire that's not necessarily your own, to put it on your schedule so you can help them with it, but it doesn't necessarily have to take priority at that very moment. So, if you're interested in that, it wouldn't be enough to do in just like 1 hour. I'd have to be a couple different calls, but just let me know.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't think anybody here would stop you.
No, and there was, there was the whole Franklin Covey push in the 90s, but I'm older than you, some of you. And
I just age really well.
And no, but it was really such a push. I mean, there were the Franklin Covey stores with all the organization things available. And I know me included did a lot of that, especially early on in my career. And it really did help focus my day, and I can see how that could apply. And I didn't know they were, pushing that out with Beachbody. I think that'd be really awesome to see the info.
Yeah, there's, and I can't call it a Franklin Covey training because I'm not certified to teach it, but I can.
Right, but the basic tenets, yeah.
And as soon as I came out of that, as a matter of fact, I even rolled out some of the training or some of the material to people that I worked with, because I wanted for them to understand that without them thinking I was being disrespectful, when they came up to me and they had a fire and they're like, I need to ask you a question, I would simply say, I'm in a Q2, which I'll explain that later, but I'd say, I'm in a Q2 right now, and I can pencil you in about 45 minutes, or do you want to come back? Because I'm not going to stop what I'm working on just because you have a fire. So it's not to be rude, but I think it's also people are trying to interrupt you when you're focused on something too. So it changes the mind of other people that you work with daily, and it just helps them to understand that what you're focused on and what's important to you at that moment in time should also be something that they respect. So, for thought.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. And Alex, you kind of said this pretty quickly, and I just want to highlight, just so everybody knows, that Franklin Covey, the organization, has actually partnered officially with Beachbody, and they have tailor-made their program specifically for Beachbody coaches, and they offer regional conferences throughout the country throughout the year at a incredibly reduced price from what they normally go for. Usually the conferences are well over $1,000, and I think they're offering it for like $200 or $300 or something.
It's like $250 or something like that. And after through the training, because you're not going to master everything as soon as you get out of it, because it's a 3-day conference or a 3-day training session. If they come back into your area, they'll allow you to reattend the training for a discounted rate of like $89.
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
Incredible.
That is incredible.
Yep.
That is awesome. Alex, I would love to have you connect with us and share that as well.
I've been meaning to team as well. So, I mean, if you're interested, I mean, we're just going to do a joint team call together and
oh, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Get different faces.
Absolutely. Some fresh blood. Nice.
We're all in that central time zone, so it's all good.
Not Peter.
Oh, we're all central?
No,
oh.
Pete's not.
Oh, yeah, not Pete. Sorry, Pete.
Oh, okay.
And Chad is not. He's in Vermont.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys stay up late. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you guys want to share as takeaways, or any other commitments that you guys want to share before we wrap this up?
Well, I just want to say I saw Alex's description, something that he sent me. And can you believe he lost 140 pounds?
Alex lost 140
pounds. If you saw his before and after picture, I was like, wow, that is so much dedication. I mean, I was mind blown when I saw his photo. So he's worked hard. So it's people like him that make people like us just work a lot harder, because it is possible, and it's possible for everybody that we help.
Yep.
And I never put in a gym by Beachbody.
That's right. Yeah, he said he never. Yep.
Wow, 100% Beachbody.
Yep.
Awesome.
And I didn't even drink biology for over a year because I was stubborn.
That could be another conversation about how each one of us kind of discovered Shakeology and found the value of it. Because I know we all have some interesting stories about that.
Oh yeah, that'd be a whole other hour.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think you're the only stubborn person, Alex. I think I would add myself.
Buddy, coach is stubborn? What?
When we're moving in the right direction, we're unstoppable.
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, listen, you guys, I appreciate you being here so much, taking the time out of your life. And I know I've received a tremendous amount of value from all of your contributions, and I hope the same for you. And I just want to acknowledge Alex and Scott for being here as well. Thank you for just sharing who you are and your experience and just the wealth that you have to offer. We are all truly blessed to have you, and to be all working in the same direction. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and post the video to YouTube. on an unlisted account, and I'll send you all the link, and I'll put it on our coach call. So I know Jesse's got a few other guests he's been working on lined up. But Alex and Scott, when you watch this video, just know that you guys are always welcome to join on our team calls, and if you want to do a joint call as well, I know I personally would be open to that as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, all right, guys.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.